If you own the business, you're sitting on the highest leverage builds you will ever make. And most of them are hiding in plain sight, in the parts of your week you've stopped even noticing, because they're just how it's done. This is the track for building inside your own business. And here's what makes it different from building for a client. When you find the leverage point, you don't invoice for it, you keep it. The return lands on your own P&L every week for as long as the business runs. So here's what you'll walk away with. By the end of this, you'll know the handful of build types that pay reliably inside a business you already run, what each one actually looks like, where it tends to hide, and how to recognize it in your own operation when you walk the floor. Not a generic list of AI ideas, the specific shapes that show up business after business that are worth your time to build. That's the whole job of this lesson. Hand you the pattern so the candidates in your own business start jumping out at you. Let me anchor this before we go pattern by pattern, because it's the thing the whole track stands on. Back in the mindset module, we landed 3 categories of build that genuinely pay: time-saving automation, leverage multiplying tools, and customer-facing products. Those are universal. They hold whether you're building for yourself or for someone else. What this lesson does is take those 3 and walk them through your own front door. Same categories, but now the payoff lands somewhere in your business, and the return is yours to keep. And that changes one important thing about how you should look. When you build for a client, you go hunting for their leverage point. You have to ask, interview, dig it out, because it's not your business, and you don't live in it. When you build inside your own business, the opposite problem bites you. You're too close. The most expensive, most repetitive, highest value work in your week is the work you've done so many times it's gone invisible. It doesn't feel like a problem. It feels like Tuesday. So the skill here isn't finding something exotic. It's learning to see the obvious thing you've stopped noticing. That's what these patterns are for. They're a lens that makes the invisible work visible again. Okay, 4 shapes. Walk your business against each one. The first is internal automation, repetitive operational work that runs on rules. This is the biggest, most reliable category inside almost any business, and it's the one most owners overlook because the work is boring, not broken. Think about the stuff that happens over and over. Invoices coming in and getting matched and entered. Leads landing in a form and needing to be routed to the right person. Support tickets arriving and needing to be read, tagged, and sent to the right place. New customers triggering the same onboarding steps every single time. The tell is simple. A person on your team does this many times a week. It follows a pattern they could almost describe in their sleep, and it eats hours that person could spend on work only a human can do. Here's how the build splits, and this is the part that matters. The AI handles the high-volume, well-defined middle. It reads the input, applies the rule, produces the structured output. The human stays on the exceptions. The weird invoice, the lead that doesn't fit a box, the angry ticket. You're not removing the person. You're handing the machine the repetitive 90% and freeing the person for the 10% that actually needs them. The way you frame the return is honest, and it's yours to measure. The hours that come back, times what an hour of that person's time is worth, times every week it runs. 52 of them a year. That's the whole formula. Hours saved, times the loaded cost of that hour, times how often it happens. And the numbers this category throws off are genuinely large. A strong internal automation can return many times what it costs to build. Sometimes 10 times, 20, more, because the cost to build collapsed and the hours keep coming back week after week. But hear how I said that. Can. I'm not handing you a fixed multiplier because anyone who quotes you a flat, "This saves you 30 times your cost," is making it up. You measure the real number in your own business. You don't promise it. And it's usually bigger than people expect, precisely because they forgot how many times a week the thing happens. The second shape is the leverage multiplying internal tool. This one isn't about replacing repetitive work. It's about taking one person who's already good at something and letting them produce far more of it. The difference from automation is the human stays in the driver's seat the whole time. The build is a power tool, not an assembly line. Picture the bottleneck person in your business, the one whose output everything else waits on. Maybe it's you, a tool that turns a rough client request into a clean, structured brief in minutes instead of an afternoon. A meeting prep tool that pulls everything you know about a customer into one page before the call. A first draft engine that takes your marketer from a blank page to something they can sharpen, instead of something they have to create from nothing. The tell for this one: there's a person whose throughput is the ceiling on the whole operation, and the work they do has a slow, heavy part that a machine could carry. You build the tool around that slow part. The human still brings the judgment and the taste. They aim it, they fix it, they approve it, but they get through far more in a day. The return here isn't hours saved on a boring task. It's more of your most valuable work getting out the door. The way you put a number on it, the extra throughput you unlock, times what each unit of that work is worth to you, times how often it comes up. A good leverage tool can take someone's output and multiply it 3 times, 5 times. The finished work in the same day is a realistic kind of lift when the slow part was the part you handed off. But again, that's a can, not a guarantee. You measure what it actually does for your specific bottleneck. Frame it as the throughput you unlock on the work that was holding everything else up. The third shape is the customer-facing build, and this is the one that changes the kind of return you're talking about. The first two save you money, hours back, more output at the same cost. This one makes you money. It's a build that touches your customer and adds something they'll actually pay for, or that lifts how many of them buy or stay. A self-service onboarding flow that gets a new customer to value without a human walking them through it. A feature inside your product that does one specific job your customers keep asking for. A premium tier with something genuinely useful built into it. The tell, it sits on the surface your customers touch, and you can draw a straight line from it to revenue. More customers converting, a higher tier they'll pay for, fewer of them leaving. This is where in-business building stops being about cost and starts being about the top line, the number your business actually runs on. The return frame is different too. It's not hours times a rate, it's the revenue the build is tied to, and a fair warning that keeps you honest. This is the category where it's easiest to build something cool that nobody pays for. So the leverage point test from the mindset module matters most right here. Before you build it, you have to be able to name the customer who pays or the buying behavior that changes. If you can't, it's a demo, not a product. The fourth shape is content production at scale, and I'm pulling it out on its own because for a lot of businesses, marketing is where the multiplier already lives, and the only thing capping it is how much you can produce. If your growth depends on putting out content, posts, emails, scripts, ad variations, articles in your specific format and voice, and the bottleneck is volume, one human can't produce enough, this is your build. But hold this carefully, because it's where people get it wrong. You are not handing creativity to a machine and walking away. The model is two ends that need taste and a middle that needs volume. A sharp brief goes in. That's you. That's the judgment. The build produces the volume in the middle, the variations, the drafts, the first passes one person could never keep up with. And a real review comes out the other end. Also you, also taste. You aim it and you catch it. The machine just does the part in between. That was never the valuable part anyway. The return on this one usually shows up down the funnel. More content feeding, more traffic, feeding more leads. So you measure it across the whole chain, not on the output itself. Now, those 4 shapes tell you where to look. But finding the spot is only half of any of these. And I'm not going to let you leave thinking the build happens by itself. A leverage point is 2 things at once. The first is what we just walked, the spot in your business where the value is. The second is the real work you do once you're standing on it. because AI does a tremendous amount, but it is not set it and forget it. There is no autopilot. You still write the spec in detail so it's accurate. You still review the plan before it runs. You still give it feedback and steer it when the first version isn't right. And the first version usually isn't, and that's normal. That work, the spec, the review, the steering, is the human inserted exactly where it counts, and it's the half that turns a good spot into a build that actually pays. Find the leverage point, then do the real work at it. Skip either half, and the return doesn't come. So here's how you actually run this against your own business. Don't try to hold 4 abstract categories in your head while you walk around. Walk your week and ask 3 plain questions. 1. Where is someone on my team or me doing the same rules-based thing over and over every week? That's automation. 2. Who's the bottleneck whose output everything waits on? And what's the slow part of their work a tool could carry? That's a leverage multiplying tool. 3. Where could something my customers touch make me money? A flow that converts more of them, a feature they'd pay for, content I can't produce enough of. That's customer-facing or content at scale. Your business probably lights up in 3 of the 4. That's normal, and it's also the trap. Your job today is not to build all of them. It's to find the candidates. And next lesson, pick the single one that would change the most. 1 build done well beats 4 done halfway every time. So here's your move before the next one. Walk your own business against these 4 shapes. Look hardest at the work that's gone invisible. The stuff you do so often, you've stopped seeing it. Write down every candidate you find. The repetitive process, the bottleneck, the customer-facing gap, the content ceiling. Don't rank them yet. Just find them. Get them on paper. Because next, we take that list and figure out which one is the highest ROI build in your business, the one to build first. And if you want proof, this scales past a tidy 4-item list. It's not theory for me. The same patterns, the automation, the internal tools, the customer-facing surface are exactly what runs underneath Scale Boss, a production business operating system real companies operate on every day. And they're what I'm building right now into Revistack. Out in the open, the first piece, Brand Engine, is the content machine behind everything I put out. The scripts, the graphics, the voice, same shapes you're about to walk your business against, just at full size. The kind of thing that used to take a team and a year, now built by one person who does the work. Go look at them. When you want proof, these are real, and the work at them is what pays. For now, go find your candidates. You probably already know what the first one is. You've just been calling it Tuesday. I'll see you in the next one.